Welcome to the Kind of Love Podcast. Conversations about reframing your story from the kind of love you don't want to the love you do want. I'm your coach, Aaron Tosti. Are you getting the kind of love you're looking for? When we're motivated by love rather than fear, the story begins to shift and it begins to change. Be in a great relationship with yourself first. Is your struggle with patterns in your life about you or about somebody else? When I was younger, it would have been helpful if this idea landed for me a little bit more. Not really looking for my other half. I'm looking for my other person who is whole, who is well, who is kind and healthy, and who knows themselves really well and is open to knowing themselves really well. Nobody completes you. They support you. They come alongside you, but no one completes you. So if your struggle is being single and wondering why you have triggers and red flags and hang-ups and internal conflict about why you're not in a relationship, well, that's because you feel a lack. You don't feel whole. There's something about you that is missing. Because when you feel better about yourself, you feel confident in who you are, and you feel like you're your best self, seems like your partner might show up, and you're not so concerned. You're not needy. You're not worried. You're not in conflict whether your other person is going to show up or not. So don't give away the end. Find out what you need to feel healthy and whole again. Define who you are first. Then you can write a list of 10 to a million things about what you want in somebody else. But until you know who you are, you're not going to be centered or focused or clear on who you want to have in your life as your other. And if you're in a relationship with someone else right now and there's conflict, your partner is just showing you what your inner conflict is. And if we can look at ourselves and see what it is that we need to change, if we can see our partner as something of a reflection to understand ourselves better. Because when we first fall in love, we really just see a reflection and feel the reflection of what feels good about who we are. And so we feel better about who we are. But over time, if a relationship deteriorates, one unloving behavior at a time, we start to lose a sense of ourselves. We start to lose our way. Or we look at that and we go, that's not right. Something feels off. So when we feel good about who we are and where we want to go, things start to change. And when we feel different, we change our perspective. And when we change our perspective, we reframe the story. I'm not looking for my other half. I'm looking for another person who is whole. Because when I see that person, they are just a beautiful gift, teaching me how I can better show up in the world. They are a beautiful reflection of how I want to be better. They are a wonderful reflection of the parts of me that I choose to be. I drove for a rideshare company for a while, and a guy in his 20s asked me relationship advice at the very end of the ride. And he asked, why does my girlfriend always think I'm going to cheat on her? And there wasn't a lot of time left to explain to him. But what I did say was, that's really about her and not about you. You see, we bring into our relationship our fears and our struggles from the past that aren't necessarily true. And because we don't have a great relationship with ourselves and understand that, we bring our traumas and our pains and our wounds and our frustration, and it's kind of like we project that onto our partner. So until we start to become healthy and understand ourselves better and why we operate and how we think and how we feel and claim ownership over those things that we do and think and feel, until we really get clear about that, we're probably going to continue to make a mess of things. So I don't really want another half. I want someone who feels whole. And I want that to remind me that I feel whole and complete. And I don't need the acceptance or the approval of someone else. I don't need that kind of gross, needy, codependent thing that says I need someone else to complete me. So many of us form beliefs as little kids, and we look around and we watch other relationships and the other way people behave, and we form conclusions with our developing amygdala. And then those memories sometimes become big shockwaves of trauma. And the fear of that trauma happening again, or the fear of that story happening for you, creates all different ways that relationships unfold for you. So becoming aware of what you've been telling yourself and how that shows up in your life is always the first step. Because we all are a bunch of grown-up kids learning. We don't stop developing. We slow down a little bit, but we don't stop. Form a better relationship with yourself first. Be kind to yourself. Be compassionate towards yourself. Understand what you believe about relationships. Understand what you believe about love. When you know better, you do better. One of my favorite statements to say when someone is afraid of a relationship, or I'm maybe afraid of something in a relationship or afraid of having a relationship, is I start by saying that doesn't have to be true. So what else is true? What else is out there? What else is possible? Open your gaze wide to see what else is possible out there, because our fears create a tunnel vision to only see the same story over and over again and live in this scared place of it's just always going to be the same way. Well, it doesn't have to be. And when you start believing in yourself again and understanding and getting more confident about who you are, you're able to see clearer than the kinds of relationships you want to have and the kind of love that you want to experience in your life. Is that the kind of love I'm wanting? Nope. I'm going to go over here and look at this kind of love. That's the kind of love I want. Let's focus on the kind of love that I do want. What would that feel like? We believe with our hearts, and our thoughts continue to reflect back to what we actually believe in our hearts. You know, I believed for a long time that relationships are hard work. You know, it's just real hard work to love somebody. And in a sense, they're not fun. They're just a lot of work. Or they don't work out for me in general. Or there's some kind of imprisonment to being in a relationship. And I had to reframe that. I had to see a different perspective, because that was just a continual story that I was telling myself. So the big question I asked myself is, what would fun feel like? What would enjoyment feel like in a relationship? And then when I focus in on that, and I feel that, and I understand that, I just see more of that, and I want to feel that more. And I stop telling myself this old story that you're going to get into a relationship and it's going to be a lot of hard work, and they might not be into you, or you might not feel accepted, or you've got to change for somebody else, or they're going to mistreat you, or they're going to abuse you, or they're going to lie to you, or all women are blank, 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 or all men are whatever, whatever, whatever. And so we create these limitations around our relationships based on what we believe about our experiences and what we believe about ourselves. So get to know you. Get to know your intuition. Get to know what love feels like for you. Get to know what love looks like for you. Not what it has looked like, what you want it to look like. And go from feeling the kind of love you don't want to feeling the kind of love that you do want. Understand your limitations so you can get past your limitations. Understand your yes and your no for what you do want and what you don't want. And start making a choice about the kind of person you want to become that will attract the kind of person that you want to be with. The other whole person that you want to be with. Feel completed. Feel a sense of confidence and clarity, love and appreciation, and you'll start to see the love you want show up in your life. Hey, thank you so much for listening to this solo episode on the kind of love This season is packed with conversations about having a better relationship with yourself so you can have better relationships with other people. The whole season is brought to you by me, Aaron. You can visit me at thekindoflove.com or the Kind of Love podcast on Instagram. Please feel free to share this with your friends, your mom, your partner. Although don't go to your partner and be like, you need to listen to this. You need to change. Because you know what? That's just not cool or kind or loving. But you could sit down and listen to it with your partner instead of, watching Netflix or something. Thank you so much for listening. Please join me on the next episode. I'm your coach, Aaron. Best of love to you.